Hi, my name is Abby Glassenberg, and I design and sew stuffed animals. I had been a middle school teacher, and I'd always been crafty. And in 2004, I was home with a new baby and had the time and energy to learn to sew. And craft blogs were just starting around that time. So I started a blog documenting what I was making while my baby daughter was napping. And after toddler story time each week, I'd check out vintage sewing books from the library, and I quickly became very focused on making stuffed animals and soft toys. I taught myself the construction techniques by sewing through all of these vintage patterns from these books from the 60s. And in 2005, I created my first original sewing pattern for that monster that you saw. I turned the majority of our bedroom into my studio and quickly accumulated many yards of plush fabrics and continued to blog about what I was making and connect with women all over the world who were interested in doing the same things. So my process begins with some visual research, looking at illustrations and photographs. Then I do some sketching, and then I create paper pattern pieces for three-dimensional objects that I sew from fabric and stuff. I designed all kinds of animals, but in 2007 I became most interested in exploring birds, and I made birds of every variety: peacocks, owls, doves, you name it. And I developed a unique method for making wire legs for my birds, and still blogging about them this whole time, which led to opportunities to show my work in galleries all over the US, and also to sell my birds in retail shops and online. And then I got my book deal. In 2011, I published The Artful Bird, Feathered Friends to Make and Sew. There it is in Barnes & Noble. I always take pictures of it when I see it in Barnes & Noble. And it was named the top 10 craft book of the year by ALA Book List. And in it, there are 16 bird projects and step-by-step photos showing you how to do the wire leg technique that I developed. And after my book came out, I started to see this as really being a career. And I got back to making toys again and sort of away from soft sculpture per se. I did some toys based on my children's drawings, which what you see here. And I also did some custom work for commercial clients. This is a constipated teddy bear that I made for a pharmaceutical ad. He's really bloated and uncomfortable. And this is one of the most fun jobs that I've had, I have to say. And the teacher in me cropped up again as well, and I now teach sewing to adults. I teach adult classes on very basic how to use your sewing machine, and I also teach people how to design and create their own stuffed animal sewing patterns. It's really satisfying to me when people can turn their their ideas into a three-dimensional fabric design. So I'm really interested in the building blocks that make up stuffed animals, and here you can see the baseball head and how it creates a nice round head that became the head on that snail. I also really love the tools involved in this craft. These are hemostats, which is my favorite tool. It was sent to me by a blog reader whose husband was an eye surgeon, and they're great for turning and stuffing small toy parts, and I just love those. And the pattern drafting process is definitely a lot of trial and error. These are 6 attempts at when I was learning to make the muzzle on a monkey, but I love the design process. And all of this work led to my second book, which will be coming out in May. It's called Stuffed Animals, From Concept to Construction. And in the book, I break down step-by-step how to design your own stuffed animal sewing patterns. So there's 16 toys in the book, and I designed each one so that the pattern exhibits a fundamental aspect of toy design. So in the text, I explain in depth how the pattern is constructed, and for example, with this elephant, I show you how to make your own four-legged animal so that the legs stand up. So now I have 3 daughters. I still blog regularly about what I'm making and about running a handmade business. And even my daughters make sewing patterns. This one was made by my 8-year-old. And I have 24 patterns for stuffed animals in my Etsy shop, including lots of toys that are perfect to sew for new babies. And I licensed my designs this year to Simplicity, the pattern company, which is really exciting as well. I also have a lot of patterns in my shop for cute classic toys for kids, including the hobby horse And every pattern comes with step-by-step photos and clear instructions to make the process really fun and easy. So that's it. Thank you.